Hello, flower friends. This is Jen, and we're going to talk about something that has really come up for me a lot lately. And it's also been coming up with some of the girls in my mastermind and some of the girls in my coaching calls for one on one clients. And that is just feeling like you're never moving the needle. You're not getting momentum. You're stuck in working on your business is so far away because you're working in your business and you literally just don't feel like you've made progress. And that is, it's really frustrating for one, because it feels like you're working hard because you're maybe doing things that are not moving the needle. Or maybe you're working on things that are just life related and they're not business related, but you still feel like you're really working hard. And a lot of times you're building this business as a side hustle, as something that maybe you're doing like the nap time warrior. You're getting your kids down and you're trying to grow your business in the hour of peace that you have. Or you're working on your lunch break. One of the sweetest women in my mastermind, like she does her mastermind calls when work is busy out in her car on her lunch break. And it's that drive that gets you to the next level. But it still doesn't always get your to-do list done. So this is a normal thing. As I would consider myself a high-performing person, I do get a lot done and I do take on a lot. I also feel like there's all these things that I wanted to accomplish. And I just had this discussion with my business coach because I by now wanted to launch a membership so that I could reach more people and help more people develop systems, develop mindset, develop community in a different way than is out there right now. And I wanted to have that done by, I think I put July. And my life has been a lot. And so I'm telling my business coach that I feel like, I'm not moving the needle. And I think she stepped back and she's like, let's step back a minute. You have. And so this is one thing that I want you to really think about is sometimes when you get into this mindset trap, we often tie success to really visible progress, like revenue or getting published in a magazine or doing some big thing. And I think we often forget about the invisible progress, the relationships that you built. I have built so many relationships in this last year. I have built more systems in this last year. I, as a person, have completely changed my life. If I think about back 9 months ago when I was going into this year ready to kick ass and take names like I do every year, I kind of always do that. I would not have imagined that I would be here right now. I would be in the studio above my studio that is beautiful high ceilings. And I just 15 minutes ago tucked my children in. And 15 minutes before that was riding a four-wheeler with a big wagon attached to it, taking trash out to the burn pile and taking compost out to the compost pile. Right after I went and snuggled my mini cow, Petunia, and my new little mini donkeys. And this is after I had over 1,000 roses in my studio, and I went to CrossFit today, and I had a couple great meetings today and got my kids off to school, got them off the bus. I mean, like, I would have never thought I would be here. But at the same time, I also in this last week I haven't gone to CrossFit like I really want to. 2 to 3 times a week is what I've been doing, and I like to go 3 to 4. And I know that's not a huge difference, but it's a mindset set difference to me that I am not doing what I said I would do, that I know that I need to do to become the healthiest version of myself. And I looked at my brand shoot. I just got some new brand shoot photos done because I was tired of my old ones, even though I love them. And I looked back and I took my original photo shoot late February. And then I thought, there are all these things that I wanted to accomplish with the rebrand. And it made me start thinking about the just laundry list of shit that I had hopes and dreams of doing, that I hired this business coach to help me do because they're an expert. And I'm here. I don't have those things done. And have I learned a ton? Yes. But it still doesn't make it any easier. I am probably, I'm unreasonably hard on myself, probably. And I don't give myself credit or grace to reflect and reframe what really has happened. And one of the things that my business coach said is like, Jen, I hear you that you didn't get these things done, but you are living in your purpose. You are living this life that you've been dreaming about, and you've been doing it in a way that isn't making you crack in half like you used to. I used to like go hard. I push myself to, exhaustion often. I was often taking care of others and not taking care of myself. I was letting other people, I was living in reactivity, which is another thing that has been a really constant conversation with my coaching clients recently, is that like they're just not wanting to live in reactivity. And I used to do that. I even had a conversation today. Someone was just really, really upset about how their family does all these things. And it's not like their immediate family. It's like, like a second layer, and how much it impacts her and how much she stews about it and how upsetting it is and how it's been going on forever. And so she is just living in reactivity to these people who honestly she should give no fucks about. I honestly feel like if somebody for that long has not done, for this is years, I'm saying, has not exhibited the behavior that you feel is due or that you expect or that you need, why are we spending any energy on it? And I think that in this growth phase that I've had, I've definitely changed and really come to grips with giving less fucks. And that definitely has helped me accomplish more. But it still hasn't gotten me exactly everything that I wanted. So I want to talk a little bit about giving yourself grace. One of the things that I'm also on the WIPA board, which is Wedding Professional Association. And they started posting in the members only Facebook group, and it was weekly wins. And I put in there like two big things that had happened. Like I had a bride, this week's bride actually, that added $8,000 to her wedding. And then I had another bride book, and then, I mean, just all these things. And then and everybody was like, "Oh my God, that is amazing." And I was just like, it didn't feel eventful to me. So I think if we stand back and really celebrate our wins, that is going to be so impactful for us to start to reframe that we actually are making more momentum than we think. Then I'd love for you to also look back and not just forward. Review, where were you 6 months ago, a year ago? What used to feel really hard and it now feels easy? Working out, going to work out used to feel really, really hard. Now it feels really hard not to go. It feels like crap, actually, mentally, to not go. I look back at even weddings that when I got like a $20,000 wedding, I was like, oh my God, this is a lot. This is going to be a lot, you guys. Everybody brace yourself because this shit is going to get real. And now I'm like, okay, let's do this. Game on, bitches. Like you just start to normalize. But when you look back, like this used to feel crazy. This used to feel overwhelming, and it doesn't anymore. And that is growth. And those are like the monumental growth things. Like me being able to go to work out, me being able to parent differently, to not live in reactivity differently, to respond to people like with calm energy and with grace and like to have boundaries. Like those are things that you can't put on a checklist. But we often only look at the things that have checklists related. So release the timeline. Remind yourself that slow growth is still growth and that consistency compounds. That's one thing that I feel like is one of my superpowers. I am consistent as AF. I am approaching my 300th episode, you guys. 300 episodes. That is crazy. That is like, and it's funny because I saw a spike one day in podcast downloads, and I was like, I asked my podcast editor, why does she think that is? And she looked into a bunch of things and she goes, Jenny, I think that something got picked up somehow, but I want to tell you that you have been my most consistent client and you have showed up every week, twice a week for years. And I think it's really starting to make a difference. And I stood back because, like, it's hard to sit back and go, God, like, even with your children, I think about my daughter and how everything is so different than it was 5 years ago. On how 6 years ago we were struggling to really get her to talk, and we were struggling to have her not just be on overwhelm mode all the time because nobody understood her. And all the work that I did. We went to therapy like 4 days a week sometimes for months and months. And then we were doing 3. But I did that for years. And now I can look back and see, even though like now we have new growth problems. Like tonight we were crying because homework feels hard and because homework feels overwhelming. And she just wants to decompress. And of course she wants her tablet. And of course she wants to just cuddle with the cats and do all the things. But It is that growth that is sometimes just really hard to step back and look at and go, my kid is is in a different place in her life because I was so consistent with her in bringing her to therapy, in making sure she had help and making sure she had resources, making sure that we were doing benchmarks. When's the last time you benchmark something in your life? Be it revenue or number of weddings, average wedding value, if you do dailies or anything, your average customer value, average order value. Could you create some benchmarks that helped you tell if there was growth? And what would those benchmarks be? What's important to you? And especially with us coming, it's October, year end will be here before we know it. And I will be talking about the million different ways you can analyze your business. And especially in the Floral CEO Mastermind, we do a deep dive into what's working, what's sort of working, and what's not working so that we can weed through the things. People have had huge breakthroughs and have changed their business because they've looked at things that you were basically making less than minimum wage doing and things that you didn't know were a big chunk of revenue until you really step back and look at it. So, like, now is the time to start that reflection. So, I want you to really think, I'm allowed to be proud of what I've done and still want more. That is giving yourself grace. Now, let's talk about grit. Moving forward with intention. There are so many different ways, but if you're not doing it, it's not working. One thing that I often see in a coaching client is it's all or nothing. They're balls to the wall, trying to tear apart the world, or everything feels like it's too much. Micro momentum is so impactful, but yet so hard to take and take that little itty bitty chunk and chip it away. So choose one thing, one 15-minute thing that moves your biggest goal forward. Something that you can finish today. It can be writing a paragraph. It could be rewriting your bio. It could be writing a list of planners that you want to reach out to. There are endless opportunities that 15 minutes could really be impactful. Going into Instagram and not doom scrolling, but posting impactful comments, going in and responding to comments on your page, posting an Instagram story. Then think of moving one needle at a time. Instead of trying to move every area in your business at once, pick one focused, one area per week or month. Everybody is like, I want to do everything, but everything is getting nothing done. What is one thing that you can pick? And what's a way that you can hold yourself accountable to do so? I weekly in the mastermind, hey, who needs accountability this week to get something done? I don't care what that thing is. I don't care if it's going to the gym. I don't care if it's taking a day off. I don't care if it is getting a proposal done. You need some accountability to get the things done. Then you need to create systems over your goals. Create routines that make your progress inevitable, like setting aside a CEO hour each week just to strategize, just to work on a big part of your business, working on your business, not in your business. Then having that accountability and support. A biz bestie, a flower friend, a mentor, a group like the Floral CEO Mastermind can change the game. They can help you celebrate wins and stay focused. That's why I have a business coach, you guys. I spend a lot of money to have someone to hold me accountable, to be the person who has done the things that I want to do. I mean, you guys, I like so much money, and I am in a completely different place in my life than before I invested in myself, because I've learned a lot of the shortcuts. I've learned the mindset strategies. I've learned the systems of other business owners that work, that are successful. And I have saved so much time not missing the mark or not basically doing things that inevitably were frustrating, maybe burn bridges, maybe look foolish. Like, I bypassed so much of that because I hired someone to help guide me. But you can do that. You guys could put together a mastermind of wedding professionals. You could put a mastermind together of florists in a market. You could do a million things to get the accountability that you need. Now, you are moving the needle, even when it doesn't feel like it. Every decision, every conversation, every tiny forward step matters. Give yourself grace for what you've done and grit for what's next. Progress isn't always loud. Sometimes it's like showing up again quietly when no one is watching. But I'm watching and I'm cheering you on. And I wish so many amazing things for you, flower friend. But if you need that help and support, and you guys are probably sick of me talking about it, but I know how impactful the Floral CEO Mastermind is. Go check it out at floralceo.com/mastermind. It will change your business in 2026. So it's almost a completely different business if that's what you want. If you want to fine tune, tweak, mold strategies, I'm there for that too. But I want big things to come. And 2026 is not that far away, my loves. Thank you so much for listening, flower friend, and you have an amazing flower-filled day.